Okay, I'm really excited to talk to you guys about another tool that has really helped me in overcoming emotional eating, binge eating, all of that. And it stems from a book that I had found online somehow, and it's called Brain Over Binge. And I'm going to link it in on my page so that you guys can find it. I listened to it on Audible, and it made a lot of sense to me, and I know that it can help you guys. So here's the basis of it all. We go to food because of emotional things that happen in our lives. A circumstance happens, whether it's lack of control, stress, death, not being able to feel like you're good enough, so many different circumstances. We attach an emotion to that circumstance, and then those emotions are what drive our thoughts, which is what drive our actions. So it's just kind of a cause and effect. It keeps going and going, right? But those circumstances that happen in our life, we attach a feeling to it. So we decide whether it's good or bad. We have that capability. So remember that later on, and I'll come back to it. Anyway, in the very beginning, maybe when you started stress or emotional eating or binge eating, it could have been brought on by wanting to escape from feelings you didn't want to feel, like we talked about last time. Recognizing what those feelings are is really important. But after time, those feelings and you going to food got attached. So you just immediately decided, your brain decided to go to food when those feelings came, and it became a habit. Because if we do something enough, our brain will think of it as a habit. So what I learned in this book that I really loved is that there are two parts of our brain. We have a higher part and a lower part of our brain. Now the higher part of our brain is what I like to call our remarkable part of our brain, where we have our goals, we know our true self, we know our potential, we know where we're supposed to go, what we're supposed to do. It is all of the good things and everything about us, our chemical makeup is there in that higher part of our brain. Our lower part of the brain is the more natural man. It's the part of the brain that is wired to do things by repetition, and that part of our brain tells us we have to do something because we've been used to doing it so many times. So for instance, if you drive to school the same way every day, your brain goes into autopilot. The lower part of your brain tells you that's where you need to go, turn here, without even thinking about it. How many times have you ended up somewhere and you don't even know how you got there? It's because that lower part of the brain gets so used to it after repetition, and it takes you there. So here is the magic, and here has been what has helped me tremendously over even just the last year alone. The fact that that lower brain is telling you to do those things, and it's not your higher brain, it's not your true self, it's not who you really are, means that you are not destined to be an emotional eater for the rest of your life. You are not destined to always struggle with food at night, or when someone's sad, or when you have too much on your plate and so you eat, out of stress eating. Whatever it is, that is not your story. You can change your story. If you tell yourself you have a hard time eating at night because your kids go to bed and it's your time, and you repeatedly tell yourself that, that's what will happen. You will struggle every night. You will eat foods that maybe aren't the best for you, or you'll overeat because you tell yourself that story. If you tell yourself you can't be around friends and not eat chocolate and whatever, then that's what will happen. If you have a hard time around sweets and you tell yourself that, that's what will happen, okay? Well, here comes the really neat part. You are actually able to kind of from a distance separate yourself from that higher and that lower brain. The remarkable part that knows all your goals and knows who you are, intrinsically knows who you are, and that lower part of the brain, you can separate them, and you are actually able to pause in the moment when a feeling comes and say, oh, that's that lower part of my brain that's just telling me to do that because I've done it so many times, but I don't have to listen to it, and move on. The crazy thing, you guys,